Okay, for the Desmos project, you need to work your way through 10 different types of functions, at least 10 different types, and they're specified. So part of our goal here is just to learn how to move functions around, which we've been doing all year long. So I'm going to start with a parabola, just because it's very familiar. So we're going to do 0.5 x minus 5 bracket squared plus, let's go with 16 and see where this lines us. Okay, I'm going to move the parabola over a little bit, 5.8, there we go. Okay, and now, actually I'm going to move it down. I want some more momentum going, so I'm going to bring it down to 14. So we'll bring this over now to 6. 6.5, there we go. Whee! There they go. Okay, now I'm going to put a domain on this. So I want it to stop right around here somewhere. So I'm going to stop it at about, let's go 7.8. So I'm going to start over here, somewhere around, so let's do 3. So we're going to, so you put a squiggly back 3, you do the less than or equal to symbol, x less than or equal to, and then what did I say, 7.8 was it? There we go. Okay, so you can do every single one of your equations like that. It's one way to do it, and you just play around with numbers until you get it. Another nice little way is to actually play around with sliders the whole time. So do y equals a bracket, and I'm going to do a sine function here for fun. I'm going to do k bracket x minus d plus c. So notice that I've used all of our typical letters that we use, where d is the horizontal shift and c is a vertical shift. Okay, so that gives me a slider. And then a was my stretch value. So I'm going to call this a comma, or sorry, it's my stretch in my y value. So I'm going to call it a comma 0. And so you'll notice now that this green represents changing your a value. And then I'm going to do the horizontal, so that's k comma 0. And this is going to give me another slider right here that will slide this way. And change the color of that so I have unique colors. So what is this doing? So now these black sliders, D and C, represent a horizontal shift. So I can just shift my function around. Isn't this ridiculous and awesome? So that gets it kind of close. Now I want this thing to be a little, the period to be less intense here. So I want it to go out. Okay. Then I want to try and match the slope in there. Look at that. That looks pretty smooth. I'm going to test this out now for a second. So hit launch and hope. Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do now, if I really like this function, what I'm going to do is replace my a value with what I just found out it was. So it's 2.24. My k value, which is 0.6. D is 7.13. And C value is 13.95. Okay. And the point where we saw they were kind of meeting was like right in here about, well, that was right at 7.8. Perfect. So now I got to begin this function at 7.8, less than or equal to x. And there we go. So I have my first successful connection of two functions. It's beautiful. So I'm going to have to decide, am I going to continue from down here? Am I going to cut it off here? And then we got to play around with something else. Now, because we filled in these numbers here, they are all detached. So now this button just represents a slider again. So I'd hit it, insert an expression here for number 3, and now I'd start playing with another function. So I would do y equals a, let's do log, bracket k, bracket x, minus d, plus c. And again, this is just playing around with the vertical shifting here. Okay, this is playing around with the horizontal stretch. This is playing around with the vertical stretch. Okay, and we can even go into the negatives here. So we can just flip around. So sometimes these sliders get you really close, but not exactly what you want. So if you found out 6.92 is really close to what you want, then it's hard to move your mouse a 1/100th, so you might make it 6.93 or 0.94 and then play within that. Okay, so that's how you play around with setting the parameters on it. So just the stretches and shifts, and then the domain here. You could also do this with Y if you wanted instead of X. And then this right here represents how we can do it by adjusting a slider instead, so that we're not doing it all by hand every time. I hope this video is helpful in your marble slide project.